And welcome back to Michigan Matters. The gang's all here as we welcome back Lena Epstein, finance co-chair of the Michigan Republican Party, Denise Illich, CEO of Illich Enterprises, and David Dulio, executive director of Oakland University's Center for Civic Engagement. Whew, got that all out of the way here. It has been a while since we have been in person. We have been doing things via Zoom. We had a few weeks off. The world on political front, the national with the presidential, turned upside down here. So many different ways here. And in fact, since the last time we met, Biden left the race, and then there was the convention, and then you got a surge for Harris and Walz. And boy, things have just upended everything here. I'm curious, because you have been a Donald Trump supporter for a long time. I remember in 2015, you were one of the first people who was like way out there for him before a lot of other people here. So my question to you is this. He's now facing Harris, who is very different from Joe Biden. And to have what Donald Trump and the team have been working on all these months and now have it overnight turned over, it seems like he's having a little bit of trying to figure out what approach to use, not attack, but I mean what approach to use on this. You're here in Michigan. Michigan's a gigantic state in this race. What advice are you giving to Trump, or would you give if he was sitting here about what he would need to do?
Sure, I have, and I will continue to advise President Trump to stick with the message of his policies. What he accomplished in his 4 years as president, what he anticipates accomplishing in 4 years, sticking to the issues of economic independence, addressing skyrocketing inflation, addressing the fact that America is no longer competitive in a global economy. When he talks about his record, the voters generally align with him, and I think will be very successful in November.
Yeah, and he's coming in fact twice this coming week here. I know he's coming to Flint, and I'm hearing the west side of the state too, maybe?
That's correct. Hardest working candidate in modern history. Definitely sets the bar for putting himself out there and giving it all he's got.
Let's talk for a second here. Debates. So we know that image and style are as important as the facts here, it seems like here. And even though in the first debate where Biden looked horrible and he seemed to tell fewer untruths than Trump did in that very first debate that they had, yet Trump won resoundingly in that debate here. I mean, what does it say about debates and why they really matter?
I think they do matter because I think they distinguish the candidates. I thought that the debate did a beautiful job. I thought that Vice President Harris did a beautiful job of really distinguishing what she stands for versus what former President Trump stands for. And I think that's really educational for the voters to talk about the policies and define themselves to the public.
I know you're nonpartisan, so you're not going to take a position either way, so you're a good person to ask this of. The undecideds, the pool of undecideds, which isn't that big, but are going to be very important to both campaigns, because this contest was razor sharp last time. It's going to be that way probably all the way through this time. On the debate, this one debate that they just had with Harris and Trump, how much do you think that influenced people, the undecideds who are still trying to figure out?
I think with debates or any big event in a campaign, right, it's best if we take a beat and let it settle for a bit. So we've had the opportunity to do that now, and I think the data and evidence that we're seeing is that if you went into that thinking, I'm a Harris supporter, you're still a Harris supporter. If you went into it thinking you're a Trump supporter, you probably think it was a 3-on-1 fight between Trump, the moderators, and the vice president, right?
Well,
and then there's the middle, right? And the question about them is, did they watch? And if they did they stay up late enough to watch the whole thing? What did they get out of it?
Well, apparently
right?
there were like 70 million people watched.
There were, but is that just the bases, or is that just because there's going to be 160, 170 million votes cast in this?
There was a bump, though, I understand, in registering to vote, which I thought was really cool.
Well, but let's talk about one thing that may have been part of this. So Taylor Swift, who came out when the debate ended. Yeah, Taylor Swift, huge following, 280 million Swifties out there, came out when the debate ended and basically endorsed Harris. And I think I heard that something like 2.3 million people liked what she had to say about this within 30 minutes of this. I mean, when you have so few votes ultimately determining, that could be something of getting people to, and how big a difference maker does her endorsement, do you think, have?
So that's the thing, right? It might be that Taylor Swift moves a few votes in a particular direction, right? But it may not be that many, but it might have such a big impact on the outcome, right? In a state like Michigan, where the result is going to be razor thin, even small shifts can make a big difference.
Real quickly?
Endorsements are great. It always feels good, and it's helpful in the moment when it happens. The impact on the election result really remains to be told. Kamala Harris was seeking the endorsement of Cheney. And I think the Bush family as well, and she's running as a Democrat, really highlights the fact that Donald Trump is the political outsider in this race. That is, he's really up against the permanent political elite class in Washington. And he's done a wonderful job facing this uphill battle.
Okay, real quickly here, this is a quick yay or nay response here. So there's talk about a second debate between Harris and Trump here. Just yes or no. Will there be a second debate between them?
There should be.
Man, you were just a wrinkle on the road here. All right, I won't waste my time. Dee, what say you?
They're split. One says yes and one hasn't committed. So it's hard to answer that question.
Where do you think there will be?
Do I think there will be? No, I don't. I don't think there will be.
Donald Trump never turns away from a debate. He loves the opportunity to show his leadership, his policies, his values, and his approach to leading the nation. So I would be very eager and excited to see him again.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll bring it to Michigan. We'll see. Anyways, keep it right here. We're going to take a quick break, pay a few bills, and continue with the show right after this.